Hello and welcome to today's lecture on intersection network. So today we are going to be making use of Netedit to build an intersection network in Sumo. In the previous video, we were able to build a highway using Netedit and exporting the network to Sumo GUI. But today we are going to be building or we're going to be looking into intersection network. So without wasting much time, let's get on into it. So this is the Netedit interface. Then you click on File, then New Network. So we're going to be having this page, which is more like the default page. But in order for here, then it creates the grid for us. Then we have something like this. So this gives us a better view for whatever nodes and edge we're trying to create using this grid. And like I said in the previous video also, each of the squares in the grid is 100 meters by 100 meters. So since we want to create an intersection point, but before we go into creating the intersection point, there is one thing we need to take into consideration is this element or this icon showing that there is going to be edge opposite direction. That is the vehicle flow in opposite direction. So it's very important to be able to click on this before create the edge node. So when we click on this, it shows that we want to create opposite edge opposite directions. So before I click on this, let me just have a scenario of what I'm trying to explain. So clicking on the edge node, and creating this node, having something like this. When I zoom in, it is just based on one direction, just from this node. Hello, 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 hello. So let me just go ahead and delete this particular one. Or better still, let me leave it and let's try it. Okay, let me just delete, delete, insert. So opposite direction. So since we want to build an intersection, so the first thing we're going to do, you can start it at any point, maybe just take it two boxes, then you drop it again, you click on it again, then have it this way. Then you can also have it in this form, then this way. So we can just two boxes each, then drop, repeat it again, then have something like this. You can go ahead and do the same for this, then make sure you drop here, then this. So at the end we come back to inspect mode. So this is what we'll have. So if I zoom it in, then we'll be able to see the two way, this and this is for the other direction. So same goes for every other part of the intersection. So the next thing we're going to do is to increase the number of lanes. As it stands at this point now, when I click on this, still on inspect mode, you can see the number of lanes we have here is 2. You can decide to increase the number of lanes to 3. Then we have this. So the same thing for the other thing. Increase the number of lanes to 3. Then we have this. You can do the same for every other one. The number of lanes here increase to 3. If you want to make the number of lanes of any of these ones maybe 2, 1, you want to leave it as 1, you can do the same. But for the sake of this, tutorial video, we just make everything 3. Just 3, 3. So one important part of this Netedit or this simulation is the use of the mouse. The mouse helps us to be able to zoom in, zoom out at almost any time we want to do that. So rather than using an external mouse, it's quite a bit better other than using the inbuilt mouse on the laptop. So this is what we'll have after when we've been able to do that. So another thing we're going to be doing now is we will try as much as possible to name each of the lanes. We're going to name the lanes. What will this help us to do? Whenever we are trying to create a connection within the intersection, instead of using the default, like the one we have here now, the default ID of this lane is E3. Instead of making use of E3, E5, E7, and we don't even know when there is a change in any of the numbers, maybe we should make use of uh, names that we are kind of a bit conversant with. So what we're going to be naming this, the lower part here, you can name it, let's call this, what should we call it? The left down one. Okay, LD1. Let's leave it as LD1. Then the upper part will be the left, because this is on the left hand side. The left, the up, then one. So this one is LD1, that is left down one. Then this one will be left up one. So for the other part here, this one is the down part. So that will be right down one. Then the upper part should be right up one. Okay. I know it's a bit funny using this kind of denotion, but I think it will help us rather than using the default IDs. So for this part, we can call this down left 2. So this is the down part is on the left 2. Then this other the one beside it is down right 2. We can name this up left 2. Then this is up right 2. And what we have here is 1. So that will help us to have a better denotion to this. So the next thing we're going to do is to click on the connection mode. When we do that, it will show the automatic connections between this intersection. So when we click on this, then we have something like this. So this is the default connection between the lanes. This is the default connection. So if we want to proceed to make use of this, then that is okay. But if we also want to alter, because from what we have here, we only have this as this lane is also a true lane, but also a right turn lane. The other one here is a true lane and also a left turn lane. But based on what we have, I don't think we don't want it to be a true lane and also a left turn lane. We want it to just be a left turn lane and not a true lane. So that means we should be able to remove the connection of this coming as a true lane. So how do you do that? How do we do that? So on connection, we're still under the network and the connection. Then we click on the particular link that we want to edit. We can decide to click on this particular link, which is the one we want to edit. So like I said in the previous video, when we have this particular color, it is the source, is this the source lane. So we call this the source lane, and this source lane has the light green as the target lane. So this is the target lane, that is, it goes this way, and there should be another target lane. Yes, this is also the target lane, which shows that these are the two possible directions. The two possible directions. This the vehicle flow on this lane will serve. So this, then this. So for the sake of this, we said we don't want it to be a true lane. So all I need to do is to let's click on this lane, then it goes off. So when I do that, then it goes off. So after when we're done with that, if there is nothing else for us to do, under the properties here, then we click on OK. Here, you can click OK. So you can see it's only just a left turn lane. So the true lane, the color lane, we have been able to delete it. We can do that again by clicking on it. It shows that we already have this lane. Maybe in order to, if I decide to click on this, it goes off, but no. So that is the only lane we want for that. So since we're sure, we just click on OK. So from what we have here now, it shows that this is the only lane we have. So we want this to be a true lane, and we can also decide if we want this particular lane to be true lane and also a right turn lane. So that is for us to decide. But maybe also for the sake of this, for the sake of tutorial video, we can decide to just click this a right turn lane and not. And how do we do that? We click on this. We want it to be right turn lane, so yes, which is this, but we don't want it to be a true lane. We can delete this. So after when we're done, we click on OK. So right turn, then the true lane. So this shows that vehicles coming on this road and don't want to go on the true lane will have to keep going through this. The left one can go through this lane, and the ones for the right one can. I want to click on this. So this is it. So we can decide to do the same thing for all the other connections. But this time around, I'm going to do it first. I'll be fast. I'll be fast with it. So I don't want this to be this lane, but I don't want it to be a true lane. So we have this. Then click OK. We have to click on the OK before we pick another lane. If not, we'll mix the whole thing up. So this is only meant to be a true lane. So this is a true lane. We click on OK. Then we come here. We want it to just be right hand lane and not a true lane. So we click this. So we do the same for this. This is going to be this one, but we don't want it to be a true lane. This lane. Click OK. Then the true lane, yes, it's just a true lane. OK. Then this, we don't want it to be a true lane. Yes. So I think the only one we have left is this. Yes, true lane. No, not here. Click OK. This, yes, is already set just on this lane. Okay. Then this right one, we delete this. Okay. So when we look at it, every one of them are of the same. Right, left, true lane, right, left, true lane, right, left, true lane, then right, left, true lane. So we have been able to build this. So when we were when I was explaining under the lane configuration on a road network, there are a lot of conditions we take into consideration, when you want to determine or when we want to determine the number of lanes on a particular road network. I think I've already explained that in one of my previous videos. So you can check on any of the videos on road network part one and part two on my channel to see more on there. So now that we have been able to establish this, then we can either decide to introduce can decide. And how do we do that? This still under the network here we have what we call the traffic light. So this is meant to be. So then we click on traffic light. Then the edit traffic light column is there. So it's been created. Then we click on this create. Then we have the traffic light. We have the traffic light. But when I come here, then we have the traffic light. I have the traffic light here. So if you also want to delete from the traffic light, come here down to delete. Then it goes up. So that's it so far. So all we need to do now is to be able to edit our traffic lights and also the vehicle flow, able to introduce our vehicle flow into the intersection network. So this is the default settings of the traffic lights, which shows here that the true lane here is red, the left turn is red, while the right turn is green. So we have to be able to edit this network now based on our own preference. And in order to do that, the first thing I try to do is preference. So I try to differently edit traffic lights and create my interface based on my own preference. So here, go, delete, delete. There are different ways of doing this. So, but this is just one of the ways you can do it. Delete, then delete. So I'm going to leave it based on the first phase. Here is the duration, the number of seconds we want the traffic light to be on before it changes to the next, maybe probably from red to green or from red to green or green to yellow, whatever it is. This is the number of seconds. So I think for the sake of this, we're going to be leaving this for 15 seconds for the first one. So based on the what it's going to look like, that is, for the right turn lane will be green, the through lane will be red, and the left turn lane will be green. And no, that is we have to edit this network because there is no way we can have this. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to click on this, right left click, then right click again. Then we can change this to green. So for the green, we have what we call the major green and the minor green. So when it shows the main road, giving priorities to the main road, we use the major green. When you want to give priorities to the main road, that is, they can proceed without stopping. That is major green. But for the minor green, it's commonly used for turns, like most especially when it comes to the right turn. So that is when we use the minor green. So it gives priorities to more heavily trafficked roads. That is major green, while the minor green gives or allows the flow of traffic on one side of the traffic into the street or into to one side of the road. Majorly, like I said, the the right turn lane we have here is green, but we will look into that during the course of editing this the traffic light. So like I said, when here this will always be green. This will always be green, which is going to be a minor green. And here will be which is the to stop. Vehicles coming on this two lane, we have to stop at this point. But vehicles here can go in this direction, which is quite okay. Then with the traffic light here, it's okay. Now, since we've done for this, let's look at the other opposite direction. So when here there is red, the true lane here is red, the true lane here will also be red, which is also right. Then this, we said this should be, let's check if it is, this should be green minor. But yeah, but this, okay, this should be green major. So we have been able to edit on this for the two sides for this and this. So let's look at the other opposite side. So if this isn't happening and we have the movement of this will also be in this direction. This will be in this direction. So that means we cannot have this. This should still be red. Then this can be major green. Now looking at what we have here, so that means at the point of this intersection, the vehicles can go in the right, in the left turn lane, and this will also go in the left turn lane, which doesn't stop the movement of the vehicles going through the other lane here, which doesn't stop this, which doesn't stop this, and the same thing for this. So that will be the first point or the first phase in which we've been able to create based on what we have here, which has 12 links. That is 3 for each of the lanes. So like what we have here. So we have been able to do this manually. So the next thing is to be able to create add another phase. So adding another phase, or before we can decide to add another phase, we can decide that after when we have this, then the next phase should be the true lanes being activated. That is, we having the true lanes, the movement within the true lanes. But as it stands here, we have them as red. I can decide to change this from red to blinking. Rather than having it as red, I can change it to blinking as red to yellow. So which is more like a sign of get ready. Or let me just leave it as yellow for now so we don't get confused with this. Then this also can leave this as yellow. So that means at this point the show lane here, as soon as the 15 seconds is over and this changes back to these two directions. So that will lead us into the next phase. So this is the next phase. So I know at this phase this should be green major. Here will also be green major. So we can change this to 15 seconds also. Just leaving everything for 15 seconds for now. So as that here, this would be red. Here can also be red. Okay. So which gives priority to still have the other one. And the right turn lanes doesn't stop, so you can still continue in the right hand lane, the right hand lane. So you still have that. Then that can lead us to the next phase, because I think that is all with this phase. You can add another phase, make it a default. The left turn lane for this. So definitely we should be able to have the left turn lane for this. So this can be major green, and when this is major green, then this should also be major green. Wow, this can be red. We have this as red. So before we can do this, you need to have a draft of how you want it to be like. So which one is going to be yellow at a point, whereby in the process of changing, you know that the one of yellow will be the one changing to green in the next phase. So we're still going to be editing some of those ones later, but we're just trying to sort out that of the green and the red. So at this point we have the green, yes, and every other one is going to be red, except like I said, except for the right turn lane, which is the minor green. It should always be a minor green. Minor green. Minor green. So that is for the third phase. Then we have the fourth phase. So the fourth phase has to be a through lane on this lane. So this should be major green, major green. So then this can be, let's split this as red. Let's split this as red. So that means if okay, minor green, the whole minor green. So these are the four phases. Don't forget we have to put this as 15 seconds. 15 seconds. So leaving everything for 15 seconds. So this is it. So the only part that we need to edit now is introduction of the green. Looking at the first stage here, when these vehicles are moving on this particular lane, on the left turn lane, and here also the left turn lane, we have the two lanes here as green, which shows that the moment this the 50 seconds expires, then it is the right turn lane here that turns green for that. So that is under the second stage where it turns green. So at the second stage when it turns green, at the second phase when it turns green, so which one should be yellow at this point where it will turn green in the next phase? So let's do. So that would be this this turns and put this as yellow. So showing the sign that that will be the next turning green. So that will be next turning green. This is what we have here. So then after that, moving to the fourth stage, the fourth stage shows that this should be turning green. This should be turning green next. So then it goes on and on again. So this is the first one, the second one. So let's take it again. So based on the first part here, yes, but the two lane at this point are getting ready. So at the second next stage, then the other. So then when it is now green, then this two lane is also getting ready. Then we have it here. So at this point, after the fourth one, we go back to the first one. So at the first part, it should be the children. So here, this should be green because moving back to the first phase, then this will turn green. So this is it. So we have been able to set up a traffic light. I know it's a little bit tricky, but the more you practice on it, the more we'll get better with this. It's a little bit complicated, yes, I understand. And there are still some whereby we have some other form of simulations where we have to introduce the bike lane, we have to introduce the pedestrian lane, so which makes it a little bit much more complex than what we have right now. But I'll be making a video on that also later. But for now, this is just an introduction making. Yeah, this is just a simple way to edit the traffic lights. Like I said, this is not for the sake of this tutorial video. This is how we'll be editing our traffic lights. And here we have it. So after when you're through, then we can save. We can save the traffic lights. So this is what we have here. Now what name are we using? We can decide to put in, let's say, YYY. Okay, so Y Y Y. So now that we've been able to set up the so we're going to be introducing our vehicle flow into this. So we know the vehicle flow we don't have it under the network. It's under the demand. So we have to click on the demand. Then we have the vehicle mode. So we already have the vehicle mode. And at this point, we can click on the first one where we want to introduce the vehicles. I've been able to explain this in the previous video when the the demand flow, the introduction. So I won't be explaining too much on that, except for some of the added points that differs in this network and the previous one. So here it's going to be flow to flow. You can have this as 1,200 vehicles per hour, so 1,000. So one thing we need to be able to note about this is there is three lanes, and that means there's going to be movement of vehicles within any of these three lanes, which we have three different expectancy results here, where some vehicles will go on the right turn lane, the left turn lane, and the through lane. So in order for us to have an effective network based on that, but before I do that, I need to explain the vehicle flow is just within LD1 to L, the left down one. So it's within left down one to left down one. So, but we want it to be from the left down one to this, that is for vehicles coming in this LD1. So based on the names we've given to hit the phone now, so that'll be LD1 to DL2. So you can see, so DL2. So so that means that vehicle will move in that direction. So can come back, still on inspect mode. So after when that is done, still on the demand the vehicle, and bring in more vehicles. And just click on finish your creation, then it becomes two. And we also still want to do this, and we can click on this. So with this, we have three vehicles stacked here. So we can see from the overlap elements, we have 1 out of 3. So the first, the second, then the third. So to change the two. So how do we do that? So we have already done this. We need to be able to determine that which goes in this direction. And for this, the direction will be right down 1. So we should do right down 1. So you see the line go straight? Yeah, right down 1. So that should be up, right, 2. So which goes in this direction. So with what we've done so far, we can decide to export this to Sumo GUI, then run the simulation and see how this works how this works within the network. That is the three vehicle flows that we have been able to introduce, even when it is just only of within one part of the lane. So we can export this and see how it's good. So we've not been able to save the network, so we need to save the network by saving it with YYY. Okay, so then we go under the edits, open in Sumo GUI. Then there will be also a warning for us to save the configuration. And go to delete and change it from standard to real world. We have it in this view. This time around I didn't change the vehicle, the color of the vehicle. So you can see the right of lane, this has the right of lane here, so when this goes in this direction. So this is just to show basically for this lane that we will be able to introduce the vehicle lane and be able to have our vehicle flow through. So in the next video, I'll be creating the vehicle